she married a guy named Sam. They took off to travel the nation in a beat-up, remodeled little van. Then strange things happened all over, both far away and closer. The world turned weird and wacky, with nowhere to go but up. Their eyes, they showed like diamonds, thinking their blood would pay off. A vortex did swirl around them, and conventions they soon shook off. Their eyes, they showed like diamonds, thinking their blood would pay off.
It was a squirrel. I should have ran it over.
You wrecked our van?
It was cute. And besides, it wasn't in season.
Without our van. Sunk everything we had into that van.
Well, at least we're still alive. I was going to wear the earring again.
Stan, nobody wears just one earring anymore. Besides, aren't you a Republican?
That's right. I'm a Republican. We have no platform. I was going to learn to surf again.
How am I ever going to be an influencer if we don't even have a van for van life? I was going to sell Betty's bikinis. In the middle of a forest.
You better call and cancel the Betty bikini orders.
We have no service. We have no van.
Then we better start walking. Listen, we gotta get our stuff. We gotta see if we can find it, get whatever we can salvage. Let me try calling a tow truck.
Good luck with that. I lost my signal about 3 miles back.
You're right. We don't have any signal. We need to walk.
It's good.
He had a little acorn in his mouth.
It's a rodent.
Wasn't in season. Well, at least we're alive.
And homeless.
We should just see if we could salvage some stuff. I mean, there's always a silver lining.
It's not like we have a choice. Squirrel? Really? Squirrel?
It was still kind of cute. Hey! Look! Look! There's always a silver lining! Look! A boat for sale! That's what we need! Come on! Come on! This is great! This is better than a van! Look! 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 Hold on a minute! Look, it's got a cabin. It's a sailboat. It's a sailboat.
What are you gonna
It's
do
not
with a
common.
sailboat?
We can live on it. Sailing life is so much better than van life. What do you think about it? On the open sea? Think about you. Think about me in a banana hammock. How great would that be? I'm a little old for a banana. Look, here's the bottom line. This could be amazing. This is better. This is better than van life. This is sailing life.
Live at latitude 45.
So, I mean, we can sail the lake. That's the whole point, really. I know we can't go down to the ocean because of, we're kind of like barred from going anywhere anymore. But the bottom line is, we can live here year-round, right there on the lake.
It freezes.
The lake?
The lake.
It does.
What are you gonna do with a frozen lake and a sailboat? You just wrecked our home. Because of a squirrel.
Well, okay. Well, this isn't gonna work, is it?
No, it's not gonna work. I couldn't fit my shoes in this thing.
Well, you know what? You don't need shoes with a boat. It'd be fantastic. I think we should think about it.
No.
Okay. All right, you know what? It's a real dream killer. Okay. Really?
Good.
Open it up.
Now what are we gonna do? We still don't have a house.
Let's go. Gotta get out of here anyway. Van's wrecked. We gotta go, son. Come on. Look, land for sale.
That'd be great, except we sunk everything we had into the van.
Oh yeah. Look, it says cheap.
No.
No money down.
Maybe? That could work.
Maybe it could. We got service. It's a sign. Hi, this is Stan Rockbottom. I was looking at your sign here on the property. My wife and I, Betty, are interested in buying your property. Can you tell us how that could happen? No, I don't have any money. But we can get some. Okay. All right, listen. I'm gonna give you my wife Betty, and she's gonna get all the particulars because she's better at this stuff than I am.
So what's wrong with the property? Strange things happen there. That would work. Okay. Okay. That's wonderful. I'll see you tomorrow. It's ours.
What was what's wrong with the property?
He doesn't know, but strange things happen there.
Well, when you're at rock bottom, there is nowhere to go but up. Betty, what are you doing?
Just a sec. I want to pull a few things out of my bag. Ooh, those must be azurets. I like this sweater on Stan. Rustic. Nah. So, Stan, just like his grandpa. Stan's going to wonder where these came from. Azurets again? I'm keeping it.
Oh my gosh, you won't believe what happened this time. Why are you wearing that mask? Because I have a client in 5 minutes. You're a virtual therapist. Virtual sex therapist. So it plays into fantasies. What? It may not be the best approach for therapy, but it's great for business. And people pay you? Oui, oui. Yeah, well, back to me. We took this back road. You know, scenery, nostalgia, some great photo ops. Then this fat little rodent ran out in front of us and Stan swerved. Really? Tell me more. Don't go into therapist mode. Oh, all right. What type of rodent was it? Is that better? Barely. A squirrel. Puffy cheeks, bushy tail, the whole 9 yards. You wrecked, didn't you? Well, of course we wrecked. Now we're stuck in the middle of the woods. Our van life dream is a crumpled heap of metal wrapped around a tree, and I have broken every nail I have. And it looks like we're buying land and setting up camp. What? Whoa, back up! We wrecked practically on top of a for sale sign, and the owner can't wait to sign it over. Interesting. Kind of weird, but we do tend to land on our feet. just like a cat. Now we're going to try the homesteading life, or the backwoods life, or hanging out in the woods life. I don't know. And if you ask me, it's the crazy woods life. How many lives do you have left? Oh, be positive. There's nowhere to go but up. You're still pulling tricks out of thin air, aren't you? Like you don't? Not going there. And you can keep tabs on our new vlog. Really, Betty? How's your life? Comme ci, comme ça. My life is ennui. My clients' lives, though. Ooh la la. But I can't talk about that. Since when has that stopped you? Betty, you know I live vicariously. Speaking of which, gotta go. Love you, sis. Au revoir. I'm in the middle of the woods.
Don't do anything, just wait and see. Don't do anything, take it from me. Well, it's the best plan, and it's a problem-free. Don't do anything, wait and see. With some things, it's better to take your time. It's a lesson that's hard, but I've learned mine. If you can keep your head and your dignity, whilst others lose theirs, how better off you'll be. Don't do anything, just wait and see. Don't do anything, take it from me. Well, it's the best plan, and it's a problem-free. Don't do anything, wait and see.
Wow. Between what we salvaged from the van and what we found in that shed, we have a lot of equipment.
I can't believe the guy selling us this land allowed us to go through his shed and get things. I'm a little worried about that, by the way. See? We're already going up. Listen. What in the name of rock bottom is that? That's not a chicken.
That's definitely not a chicken. I don't think I like a crazy woods life.
Give it a chance. I mean, you gave me a chance. Look how that turned out.
Stan, go see what that is.
Okay, I got this. It really is chicken. I think they're pecking the cracker crumbs you dropped outside.
I didn't drop cracker crumbs. You did.
Hey, who cares who did it? The crumbs still got dropped. This can't get any worse, can it?
Listen. Is that the sound of snow hitting the tent?
Okay, maybe it can get worse. I mean, isn't this the wrong season for snow? Hey, aren't those geese? Sorry, didn't mean to hit you.
That's not right.
Well, it sounds like it to me.
No, I mean, it's not the right time of year.
Oh my gosh, it really is snow out here.
I guess strange things happen at Rock Bottom.
This is a lot better than that tent. You know, we really do have a lot to be thankful for. We salvaged a lot of our equipment. We found this land. We even found a reliable water source. Well, you did. It's an old well, but it's water.
The water's a little rusty, but it makes a great pine needle tree. I mean, tea.
Yeah, you know, I'm guessing those chickens belong to somebody up the road. Maybe we'll be able to get some eggs.
This place does kind of have a lot of weirdness, though.
Yeah, so now what do we do?
We could just go with it and dance around the fire naked.
Yeah, that could work.
Is that a drone?
I suppose strange things do happen at Rock Bottom.